Thank you for holding this very important hearing. I want you all to know, and please pass this along to all the people that you represent in law enforcement, that we support you, that we believe in you, that we need you, that this is not just something that is lip service, but it's actual, it's an actual heartfelt statement. And I think we've proven that, at least on this side of the aisle, time and again, with legislation that backs that up. The soon-to-be mayor of the city with the largest police department in America, New York City, the socialist mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani, has appointed Alex Vital, a vocal police abolition advocate, to his so-called Community Safety Transition Committee. Vital's book, The End of Policing, argues that traditional policing and law enforcement institutions are fundamentally irredeemable and should be dismantled rather than be reformed. Yet another example how the radical left seeks to undermine our institutions in the name of a dystopian ideological experiment. To Mr. Thompson, in jurisdictions that are led by elected officials with anti-police agendas, where local governments have undermined policing capacity and allowed crime and violence against officers to rise, do you believe that the Trump administration is taking the right approach by deploying federal law enforcement resources to stabilize these areas?
I do. I believe it's long overdue. I think it's not perfect by any shape of the imagination, sir. And I have read that book, by the way, and I had to put it down after 3/4 of the way. I couldn't finish reading it. It just incensed me. But back to the point. We hear these stories of the failures in law enforcement, and they are minuscule. Last year, there were 250,000 deaths from medical malpractice. I don't hear anybody calling for the elimination of doctors in medicine for medical malpractice. Maybe somebody could show me what's being done on an equal level to that attack. 250,000. And we need doctors. We need nurses. But we also need civility, and the rule of law has long been the backbone of this country. And it has to be civil, and it has to be fair and transparent, and it has to be sought after for perfection. To quote Lombardi, you seek perfection in the hopes that you'll get to excellence. Mistakes? Absolutely. When they break the law, let the Justice Department, let your local DA come in and take action.
Well, that's been a problem as well, that many local DAs fail to prosecute violent crimes.
They do.
Which is why we see a rise in violent crime in many cities that are run by elected officials like this. Mr. Hughes, what's the feeling when you hear elected officials and other people talk about doxing law enforcement, or actually doxing law enforcement, or giving their position away? What's the feeling there?
Well, doxing, as we know, has become a huge problem, and is one of the reasons that the face coverings are being used now. It really has opened up a lot of law enforcement and their families to threats, and that is a problem. Think about yourself. If me being a law enforcement officer, if you were a law enforcement officer, or had a child or a spouse who was in law enforcement, and that was going on, that would incense anybody, I think. And would make you think twice about the face coverings as well, as if you had a different opinion, because that could protect it as well with the doxing.
Can you give us the operational reasons that the face coverings are used in addition to the prevention of doxing for their safety, or their personal safety of their families?
Well, besides doxing, we used face coverings just for operational purposes, especially when we did execution of warrants and things like that, for protection. So that's outside, that would be in a particular operational setting.
Tactics, techniques, and procedures that are designed to keep the officers safe.
Yes.
It's just disgusting to see the destruction and the complete pushback on the rule of law. And whether it's violence that's perpetrated against law enforcement, those that are wearing the uniforms, whether it's doxing, whether it's colleagues who say you don't have to follow orders, you don't have to follow orders of the commander-in-chief. It's a really sad situation that we find ourselves in. We thank you for the work that you do. We thank those that wear the uniform that serve in these dangerous situations, and I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. I now recognize the gentleman from New York, Mr. Goldman, for 5 minutes of questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.